Welcome back to another installment of the four-phase drill. Hello everyone, Mike Hurt checking in with you. We're running Black Blizzard's atmospheric river. And River, this is his second time of going through the four phases. So I took a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I taught him each phase per day. Now I took the next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off from work, and we're repeating this. However, this isn't the same video as the first one. This is a completely different phase. This is a poison bird. So we're going to add poison birds into this as we get into the right-hand side of throwing these marks. So as I establish the line to the blind, that's step number one in the four-phase drill. So we're running him to the blind. There's a white pan down at the end of the field, and he did an excellent job of just running down the two-track and getting his bumper. So he's going to come back, he's going to sit. I'm going to have Julie just stand up, shoot, bang, sit down, try and get that bumper from him. He's a little excited, working on holding mechanics. It's always something. So I'm telling him, no, leave it, dead bird, back. And he's going to flare. So he's going to flare around Julie just outside that two-track. So I'm going to stop him. He stops dead center in the two-track. Give him a right hand back. And he runs right down there and gets the blind. So he's ran the blind twice. Once as a cold blind, once as my wife Julie, the gunner, stood up, shot, sat down, did not throw anything. Now he's going to come back with that, and now we're going to throw a mark. The mark will be a dead bird. And we're running bumpers, as you can see, down at the end of the field. Now I'm trying, he's a very young dog, so I'm trying to do some bird and mouth work with him here. And it's incredibly sloppy here at the beginning. So he's dropping it, he wants that bird, I'm telling him to fetch, I'm telling him to hold. So I'm just gonna let him calm down, step back a little bit. Calm down, hold. Try and get that bumper out of his mouth, make him focus for a second. River. A little animated on the line. Try to work on that a little bit here as well in this drill. Okay, so now we got the bird. Now we're going to run the blind, telling him dead bird, dead bird. He's looking right down there. There, now, oop. Okay, now let's get him lined up. Tail, spine, head, everything pointed right down that two-track. So he did kind of flare that a little bit, but he's inside the two-track, and I'll call that a win. So he runs right down there, gets the bumper, no problem. All right, now I'm going to check and make sure I hit record. And Julie's going to walk down to the 50-yard line. She started at 25 yards from the line. Now she's going to move to the 50-yard line. And I'm using a holding blind this time. So I'm going to make him go into the holding blind and deliver the bumper and the birds. Well, probably the bumpers, because on the marks, we'll see. Let's see. Well, I'm going to make him sit there, tell him to heel. Come out to the line, give him a little tap, tell him sit. Sit. Nope, see, he's jumping ahead. And we're working on making him steady. And in fact, I was watching one of Pat Burns' videos, and part of the retriever revolution, and one of the things he was talking about is exactly what you're seeing here. Is the way to fix that little jumping and getting ahead is to deny him. I should have heeled him back and then rethrown it. But we're trying to work on this four phase, and again, throw the mark, get the blind. We'll come back and fix up the line manners in a different drill. And he does pretty good there. So got the bumper. I'm going to come back and put him in the holding blind. My wife Julie's going to walk down to the 75-yard line, and we're going to run this again. Stay with me. I know it's kind of boring to watch, but the exciting stuff is coming up here after we go to the right-hand side, and you'll see some pretty impressive things out of River. So again, make them deliver into the holding blind. You will always see that at a hunt test, especially when they come back from marks and they want you in a holding blind while they plant a blind. So get him out, tell him sit, give him a little stick, sit, sit. And the only e-collar correction he gets is here on the line. So she throws, he was a little steadier that time. You know, I might give him a little low level 2 or 3 for not sitting or jumping ahead. But that is the only e-collar pressure he's getting, along with a little bit of stick pressure. But out in the field, he ran this flawlessly. So the left-hand side looks perfect. And now we'll run the blind. Let's line him up. Dead bird, sit. Trying to get his tail, spine, head, everything lined up down that right side track. Send him back, and right down he goes. So I'm letting him line the blind. In other phases, I will handle him, even though he knows where it's at, especially around the gunner. I just want to make sure I have control there. There's no flaring issues or no issues of going to get the bird versus going to get the blind. But he did a good job. So now we're moving to the right-hand side. We're going to pull Julie all the way back into the 25-yard line. I'm going to make him sit in the holding blind and wait. And make him be quiet. Just kind of sit there, relax, let him catch his breath. It's a nice, cool, early morning here in late August, early September. And if you're going to run this many marks and this many blinds, it's got to be cool outside because you don't want to overheat the dog. Okay, here's where the fun begins. So these will all be poison birds. So what do I mean by that? We're going to bring them up to the line. Julie's going to throw a mark. I'm going to tell him no, leave it. And we're going to run the blind. And then when he comes back from the blind, then we're going to get the mark. So I'm going to move the camera over so you can get a better angle of the mark. And I apologize in advance because it's hard to run a dog and run a camera at the same time. So I may be standing in the way here of some of the viewing, but you'll get a pretty good idea of what we're doing here. Okay, heel, sit, mark, mark. I'm trying to move over so you guys can see, but I ended up standing right in front of the camera. So Julie's going to throw a mark, and you'll see that on the right-hand side of my shoulder. As soon as I get him lined up, tell him sit, mark, sit. So as the mark goes off, I give him a little tap. So she threw the mark, you could probably barely see it. Tell him no, leave it, dead bird, back. He's going to run down the left track of the 2-track there. Does a real nice job. Did not even attempt to bow into the mark or go behind Julie or in front of her. He ran right down there and got it. So that's a good start to teaching a poison bird right there. So we're going to come back and we're going to get the mark. So now I'm telling him, where's your mark? Mark, where's your mark? Here you go. That's it. Easy. And send him. And boom. You're going to run right out there and smack it. So now he's going to go into the holding blind, holding the bird, while Julie walks down to the 50-yard line. And we're going to repeat the same thing over again. So this is a good teaching phase, a beginning teaching phase of doing poison birds. As we come back and do an under the arc and eventually on the line poison bird, and you'll see that in upcoming videos. He does an incredible job with this, and I was really just thrilled to death on how this whole thing went for him. So again, tap at him, sit, mark, mark, watch, mark, sit, leave it, leave it, leave it, dead bird. I do dead bird, leave it, good, that's it, sit, that's it, good, dead bird, sit, back. He's a little animated there because he's like, what am I doing? And again, this is a great teaching opportunity, and he does an incredible job here. Lines the blind. Okay, he's going to come back. Doesn't even attempt to go to the mark. She's out there at 50 yards. And sorry, I'm standing in the way. But you got the blind. Good boy. Here, mark. Where's your mark? River. Come on, buddy. Line up. River. Good. And again, he does an excellent job on the mark as a memory bird. So I was really happy with that. We're going to come back, put him in the holding blind, and we're going to repeat this at 75 yards. So the farther away the gunner gets, the harder this becomes, because distance erodes control. So let's see how River handles this. So she's out there 75 yards. The blind is probably about 110, 120 yards down the line. So it's pretty close. I'm going to tell him, sit, and then heel. Bring him out to the line. Give him a little tap. Tell him sit. Mark. Mark. Watch. Mark. Good. Leave it. Leave it. As soon as I say leave it, he kind of backs up a little bit. So I'm going to lean into him. Tell him dead bird. Dead bird. Come on, dead bird. Where's that? Good. Back. So the farther down he gets there, let's see if he bows around. You hear my other dogs playing as I voice this track. And he does a good job. Runs right down there, picks up the blind. And then as he comes back, we're going to line him up to Julie. I'm going to point Julie out. Tell him, where's your mark? Where's your mark? Sit. Sit down. Sit. Where's your mark? Mark. No, come here. I didn't say anything. Mark. Good. River. Excellent. And he basically runs right over the top of where that middle mark was at. So he's running past old scent that's out there. Doesn't stop down, went right to the mark. These are flat throws from the gun station on both on the right and left hand side. These are not angled back throws or angled in throws. These are just flat throws. All right, good job, River. So that was the second time I've ran this 4-phase drill with phase 1 behind the gun and added a poison bird.